We're here at South Shore Campground, Deschutes National Forest, Central Oregon, south side of Suttle Lake. Let's go check out the campsites. So we're here at South Shore Campground, Suttle Lake, Deschutes National Forest, Central Oregon, south side of the lake. And here is our boat ramp launch. Pretty epic. It's a couple days after the close of the season, which is why I am the only one here. It is September 17th. And pretty high quality day use spot right there. That's pretty gorgeous. Some decent shade to it. And here's your boat ramp launch. There's another day use spot straight ahead. Pretty gorgeous. Dogs on leash at all times. I like that. Signage says no mooring at dock, loading, unloading only. That makes sense. You got your dock here. You got your boat ramp launch. A little bit of a gnarly drop here. I wish that was paved all the way into the water, but is what it is. Let's come out here and take a gander at our close trusty friend Suttle Lake. Look at that. That is gorgeous. Walk over to the edge of glory. Our boat dock, swaying in the wind. A little slippery too, gotta be careful. Fortunately, I'm sure-footed. And look at that. Now that, my friend, is a vision. You got the windy Suttle Lake and the beautiful clouds creating a bit of a forest alpine lake wonderland. This, my friend, absolutely spectacular. Suttle Lake is absolutely spectacular. This is the boat ramp launch dock for South Shore Campground, south side of Suttle Lake, Deschutes National Forest, Central Oregon. And I would say the condition of the actual ramp itself here leaves a little something to be desired. I wish it was paved smoothly all the way into the water, but is what it is. This is a fee area. It's a National Forest Recreation fee area, according to that sign straight ahead. I will point out, you see to the right of this picnic table, that is the 3-mile Shoreline Suttle Lake Loop Trail. Circumnavigates this entire lake. Most people start it actually on that end, next to the day use for the Suttle Lodge. A lot of them go counterclockwise hiking this way, and then ultimately come back this way on their return, going that way, and then go back to the lodge parking. Maybe they stop by the lodge and have lunch. Gorgeous area. So be aware that there is a shoreline loop moseying through. You're going to have a steady stream of people. But that said, these aren't camping spots. That's a day use spot. Here's our boat ramp launch dock, and there's another day use spot. Pretty high quality infrastructure here at South Shore Campground. So here is site 1. You've got your picnic table and your fire pit here on the left. Things I like about it, you got decent silhouette views of Suttle Lake. Maybe not a money shot, but a good sense of it. Things I don't like about it, see back here is actually your main boat launch zone. So you're kind of right up against the infrastructure parking. You're going to hear beep, beep, beep. And so that's a negative as far as privacy. You see straight down there, that little part of the trail, that looks good. However, that is the main Suttle Lake loop that circumnavigates this entire 3-mile shoreline loop. You're going to have people hiking right down there, kind of within line of sight of your site. So it's going to be a bit of a privacy disruption. So it's cool you get that straight shot access. In fact, I'll come down here a little bit. If you got a kayak and you want to enter and exit from your site, you could absolutely do that straight ahead. You see how flat that is? That is actually premium lake access because you don't have a bunch of rocks or a weird angle. You can go right in and out of the lake from campsite 1 with your kayak, but you do trade off the privacy ding of the shoreline trail right there, and you're right up against the boat ramp launch, so you'll have that background noise of beep, beep, beep. So one's a mixed bag. Not my favorite, not idyllic, but you get some benefits of one. So that's 1 for you. And there's 38 in all. So here is 2. Parking's a little weird, so I guess you just park right here. It's kind of a sideways parking, slotted in right here. And picnic table, fire pit. You got one over there. So you got the main infrastructure right here. So you're kind of fishbowl a little bit. Oh, you got what I'm presuming is probably 3 right there. Look at that. So that is horrible lot lines with 3. And come down here. Yeah, this little side trail is gonna access Suttle Lake Shoreline Loop. It circumnavigates the whole loop. So you go straight down there, you're at the lake. So as far as lake access, that's great, but that is a shoreline loop, so people will be walking by there. But you could probably access the lake straight ahead right there with a kayak. So again, a mixed bag. Kayak, canoe access directly from your site. However, you're kind of fishbowled next to the boat ramp, and you got hikers walking kind of through the area. So mixed bag. I think that might be a consistent theme of South Shore. Let's continue along. Got a water spigot right here, and here's 3. So kind of park on this indent. I guess you can park on the other side of the 3 sign right here. It's kind of just a shoulder indent, not a real defined parking. Good shade, very well shaded. If you like shade, this is a good campsite for you. 3, you got a picnic table, fire pit. Oh look, 2's right there. How you doing, my new best friend? So 3 and 2 are on top of each other. 1, 2, and 3 are pretty fishbowled. I mean, look at how close you are to the infrastructure as far as the boat ramp. So 1, 2, and 3 are not necessarily the best privacy plays. If you don't value privacy and you want to be in the center of the action as far as the boat ramp, then 1, 2, and 3 are great. But if you're looking for private experience, not so great. So down there, you got stairs. That's the Suttle Lake Shoreline Loop, 3-mile loop that circumnavigates the beautiful Suttle Lake. You do have really good views, panoramic views of the lake. You could put some chairs up here at the top of these stairs where I'm standing, read a book or your Kindle, your iPad, and just kind of enjoy the silhouette, the calming ambiance of Suttle Lake. So kind of an interesting situation. This is a very interesting campground so far, because parts of it I absolutely love, parts of it not so ideal. So I guess just like everything in life, it's trade-offs. I don't want to use the term mixed bag too much, but that's what I'm thinking right now. Here's 4. Now this is an inner. There's a golf cart over there. I'm not the biggest fan of inners, so let me just go through my logic here. I just showed you 1, 2, and 3, right? At least those have direct shoreline access. If you have like a kayak or something and you just want to walk down to the shoreline trail and then go into the lake, and so at least, and you got the prettiness of the lake. So 4, you're on an inner. Kind of seems like the worst of both worlds, because you don't even have the shoreline access or necessarily the lake view. But look, you got somebody over there, you got somebody up there, you got somebody over there. So you're absolutely literally triangulated. 1 picnic table, 1 picnic table, 1 picnic table. You're triangulated in an inner. Now the forest itself is beautiful. I like all these trees, and if you really like shade and are worried about, sun exposure, then 4 is great. But as a destination campsite, I would not pick 4. No bueno, my humble opinion. We are looking for the creme de la creme, and 4 would not be a dream site. So it looks like we're gonna have maybe 5 and 6 here. I'll do 5 first, stay numerically consistent. Here's 5. Got a nice driveway. This is very nice. Big for a big car, pretty much almost anything could fit in here. I would think an RV would actually be able to do this, but please defer to whatever Recreation.gov says as far as if this is an RV site or not, because they have their own regulations and etc. I'm just walking around rambling. So here's your picnic table, your fire pit. Maybe put your tent right there. I think that makes sense. Makes it a little bit more of a nook, a little bit more private. Probably have a little bit less noise, but my humble opinion. Let's come down here. Picnic table, fire pit. I do like 5 actually. Decent amount. Get the perspective. You're sitting here at your fire pit and looking up at Suttle Lake. You get a good sense of it. It's not like a money dream shot, but it's enough that you get the calming effect of the ambiance of the presence of Suttle Lake. So I'm digging it. I like 5. 5's pretty high quality. It doesn't. Let me check to see if 5 actually has shoreline access as far as dragging a kayak, because that does matter to me. Oh yeah, actually, this is great. So if you take 5, you can drag your kayak down there and access the lake. I am digging that. So actually, I think so far out of the first 5, this is just the first 5, 5 is probably my favorite. So far, 5 is the best, but we're only 5 in of the 38. Here's 6. park here, nice long parking. It's an inner. You got picnic tables over there and over there. So there's a couple sites. There's another site over there. So you got 3 over there, 1 up there. That's 4. So you got 4 picnic tables with somewhat lines of sight to 6. You're kind of right in the middle of the campground. I'm not sure what you're getting for that. Little fishbowl, okay, picnic table, your fire pit. Close proximity to the bathroom, that's convenient. I guess from here you do get some views of Suttle Lake, so that's something. But you got the forest road right here. I don't know, I'm not really feeling 6. It's a very central location, and I don't really feel like you get much for it. So I probably wouldn't do 6, keeping it real. I'm gonna cut across here, over to 7. Ooh, look at that. I'm digging Suttle Lake. Suttle Lake is beautiful. I love Deschutes National Forest. It's my favorite forest in Oregon. I love Suttle Lake. So I already have some biases in favor of this area. I really want to like these campsites, but I'm gonna give an honest assessment. Here's site 7. And got our parking. So parking's interesting. It's kind of off to the side here. And you got a little water spigot. That's cool. Let me come down to 7 proper. So you park here and you get out of your vehicle. You're walking over here. Pretty interesting, actually. So I'd say 7 right here, and I think 9, because I think that's 8 up there. So 7 and 9 right here. Very fishbowl with each other. Horrible lot lines between the 2 of them. However, if as a group play, 7 and 9 could be quite spectacular. Because if you take over this whole section, then this whole area is your dominion. You got a fire pit there, obviously a fire pit with 9. We'll get to 9 in a minute. But I really potentially like 7 and 9 as a group play. I think that could be really awesome. And look at all this access to Suttle Lake. You got some pretty gorgeous views of Suttle Lake. Very beautiful, a lot of good shade here. I'm standing right in a really well shaded, winded area, kind of a wind tunnel in a good way, so it'll keep you nice and cool. And then as far as access to the lake, of course we have the 3-mile Shoreline lake loop coming through here, so we're going to be hitting that just down here. So there's the Shoreline lake loop. Oh, look straight ahead, right there. That's your access point. You kind of got to get over that that log, but that does give you access. So there is an access point to the lake. I'm talking like kayak, canoe, raft, inflatable device access. So that's nice. You can hear in the background, you do have the highway on the other side of the lake, so that's kind of a negative aspect. Late at night, you can sometimes hear the air brakes of the semis doing Highway 20, and it can make it hard to sleep sometimes. I've heard people complain about that, so that is a real issue. If you're looking for like way out in the middle of the forest, pin drop silent, candidly, none of the 3 campgrounds at Suttle Lake are right for you. Suttle Lake is right up against Highway 20, so you have all of the road noise carrying across the lake. So if quiet, pin drop, still nature is what you seek, I would probably just steer clear to the whole Suttle Lake area. I'd probably actually maybe go deeper into Metolius River zone. There you're going to get some real pin drop silence, but it's a river instead of a lake. So let's keep hiking. Let's keep exploring our South Shore campground. Here's site 8. You got parking, picnic table, fire pit. It's an inner, a little less optimal than an outer. These trees are epic though. I mean, this forest is legit. Like, this is legend forest. This is like old growth, beautiful Deschutes National Forest. So the forest is an A+. I love this area. Here's your fire pit. There's one across the way. You got your bathroom right here, so that's convenient. If you want quick, easy access to the bathroom, then 8's great. You do have lot line issue with that one right there. You got your dumpster over there. You can sit here and make out the lake, so that's not bad. But you're not right on the lake. You're not right in the lake's business. You're not shoreline. So let's come down to site 9. I can see the sign from here that says site 9. This is your roundabout parking for site 9. So straight ahead, that is your picnic table. As I said before, I'll come down here a little bit more. I really like 9 and 7 as a group play. Because imagine if you grab 7 and 9, and now you have this whole swath of shoreline to yourself. I think that could be really special. So 7 and 9 together, I really like. I think that's a really high quality group play. Come down to the fire pit, give the lot lines, nice big wide area. You put your chairs here, you're sitting here and just kind of looking at the lake, so this is pretty. Again, there's 9 and 7. pretty cool. I will say as a negative, you see there's a site right up here. So that's a little bit of a lot line ding. They're looking down on you. And then as far as privacy lot lines, remember there's Suttle Lake Shoreline Loop right down there. You see that flat area straight ahead, that is the loop. So you got people moseying on by, most of them going counterclockwise, coming this way, could go the other way. So that's suboptimal. Let me come over here. I will point out, because I want to be positive and negative, look at how high quality this beach is right here. I mean, this is legit. This is one of the best beach line zones of the entire Suttle Lake infrastructure system. I mean, look at this. That's like a proper beach right there. And then you got that log. I'll say this is like a dream launch zone with your kayaks. I have pungos, so I'd bring my family. We'd take our pungos down there. We could probably get down over there or right here if we had to. I'd rather not do these stairs with a heavy kayak, but I think we can get down over there. So I would then launch in my pungo right here. It's also like a swimming area. And then you see that log is open on the left there. So you can squeeze by with your kayak and enter the lake proper. So this is like a dream kayak access entry exit point, like probably almost certainly one of the best ones here at Suttle Lake, probably the best one here at South Shore Campground. So this is right up against the Shoreline Trail. See, the other side of the beach, the other side of these rocks is the actual Shoreline Trail. So be advised, people will be moseying on by doing the 3-mile circumnavigation loop. Most of them start at the Suttle Lake Lodge, which is way that way, and then they'll be walking right by. So here we have a sign here. We're gonna keep going on the shoreline. We just did number 9. We've got a water spigot over there. Here is 10. That's where our numerology is continuing. So parking is little on a steep hill, not for an RV, but would work for most SUVs. Here's our picnic table and our fire pit. Very beautiful. I will say you have one right next to you, presumably 11, so that's not great lot lines. But look at this view of the lake sitting here. That is premium, that is world class. So imagine you're sitting here and you look up, and you got Suttle Lake just hanging out. So premium sitting at your picnic table viewing Suttle Lake at 10. I will also add you're looking down on 9 right there, which I am not a fan of per se. Now, as far as access to the lake, I would argue this is set up to be your own access point. You can come down here, and this is kind of, feels to me to have meant to be a central access point because it goes right from the forest road. This isn't necessarily just a domain of 7 and 9. And you come down here, right now the trail I'm walking feels community access to me as far as the overall campground. And lo and behold, look at this. We've got this premium stair system. You gotta be careful going down these because these can be kind of dangerous and slippery, but practice situational awareness and you have a premium shoreline beach access, swimming, fishing, and kayak entrance and exit. Probably the best one here at South Shore Campground. This is really built out, high quality. And then when you come back up, if you're at site 10, you're right now on a campground community trail, and you come this way, and you're back at your campsite. So 10's pretty high quality, I would say. I mean, not the best lot lines. You got people over there, and you got people right here, like straight ahead, iceberg dead ahead right there, and then you have people down there. So you are fishbowled. This isn't like an idyllic site, but you do get this overlook of the lake, and you do get this premium access to this rocky beach access. So 10, it's got some strong aspects to it, decently high quality. Let's continue along. Here is 11. Got a little bit of a turnabout, which of course is fair play. That's where you park right there. And come up here. As I showed you a 10 a minute ago, there's your picnic table for 10. So 10 and 11 kind of on top of each other. But if we overlook that for a minute, look how beautiful this area is. I will say there's another one, probably 12 right there, 12 or 13. But look at the actual lake. These trees, I gotta pan up, these have an epic feel. This is Deschutes National Forest proper. And this is a wonderland zone as far as the forest. So you got your wide picnic table, got your fire pit. I could not hate more that there's one right there. Like, what a bummer. Like, imagine if this one was like carved out with trees on both sides. You're just chilling here in like a private oasis. I mean, look at how beautiful this lake is. That would be freaking heaven. But for whatever reason, they got 10 right over there, and they have this one like, I mean, that's, I don't know what that is, like 30 feet, whatever it is, that's like right there. So you're sitting at your fire pit and you're like staring at your neighbor. So then you can see another big table up there. So not great as far as the lot lines. That's a big ding on this one. Otherwise, this one would be like world class. Look how thick this ponderosa pine is. It's crazy. You do have your own access. This is great to the river, the lake. You can go down there. You can drag a kayak, perhaps, if you're comfortable doing that safety-wise. And then down there is the Shoreline loop. You can actually see the trail from here on the other side of those logs. And then there's lake access. You can go up and down there. You could go down there. There's a nice beach, or there's some other access points across here, depending on your comfort level of entering and exiting a kayak. So you got access to the Shoreline loop. And I will also say, as a privacy thing, you got people going by. So something to consider. You got your own access. You got these massively thick ponderosa pines that are ridiculous, like ridiculously gorgeous. So Deschutes National Forest is epic in this zone, and of course the lake is epic in this zone. And you got access down to the shoreline, and you got kayak access. My only gripe is that I don't like that campsite being right there. Like, I just don't get it. It's a tragedy. Another Shakespearean campground layout tragedy. Why not make it a little bit more private and make this? I would rather, candidly, they carve these out to be private and jack up the price. Maybe that's not a popular position, but if you're gonna come do a destination campsite, maybe that's the one trip you take all summer. One vacation you take all summer is to like a Suttle Lake campground to South Shore. And maybe if the campsite was like 40 or 50 or 60 bucks, but it was a perfect site, it's still cheaper than a hotel. Maybe it'd be worth it. I don't know. That's kind of how I view it, but to each his own, to each her own. Here's 12. Here's our picnic table and our fire pit. Kind of in the middle of the flat zone. Not a fan. You got one over there. You got one over there. You got one over there. Oh, you're absolutely fishable. 12 is horrible. You're triangulated by 3 other campsites. You're right in the middle of a flat zone. You're not really getting anything from it. You don't even really see the lake. I would not do 12. The differences in quality in this area. I think I got a chipmunk assisting me with my review. Oh, he's running to the next one. It's got more. Thanks, bud. Oh wait, no, you're going the wrong way, buddy. How am I supposed to? All right, so here's the next one, 13. Here's where we park. And there's our picnic table fire pit. This is the one I was dogging on a minute ago when I was doing 11. See, there's 11 right there, and here's 13. So I just don't understand why they're so close, but I don't know. I guess you can't have everything in life. So there's our incredible money shot of Suttle Lake. Like, Suttle Lake is spectacular from here. As I said, these trees are ridiculous. Like, this zone of Deschutes National Forest is world-class epic. So I am digging the forest. I'm digging the lake. I'm digging the area. I'm digging a lot. But my gripe with 13 and 11 is that they're right on top of each other. Now, if you grabbed 13 and 11 as a group play, now angels are singing, my friend. 13 and 11, and if you want 3 sites, if you grabbed 13, 11, and 10, now you are in serious business. You are in heaven. So 13, 11, and 10 would be great. Now, if you really want to get crazy, and I don't even know if I should share this, that's how controversial it would be. If you have a massive group and you grabbed 7, 9, 10, 11, and 13, all 5 of them along this zone, you would probably have the best camping experience you've had in your life. And that is not an overstatement. Guaranteed. Or your money back. So, I mean, that's how amazing it would be. 13, 11, 10, 9, and 7. This bay of 3 that's kind of on this overlook with these railings, and then the 2 down below closer to the beach area. You grabbed all 5 of those, Oh, you would be in heaven, my friend. That is one of the best alignments, I think, in this entire area. Those 5 or maybe 3 or 2 or combinations thereof. So that's my biggest takeaway so far. And here's 14. Not really a fan. You got your picnic table. You're in an inner. You can't see the lake. You've driven to Suttle Lake, but you can't see the lake from your picnic table. Seems kind of oxymoronic to me to come all the way to Suttle Lake, but then not actually see the lake from your site. Ignore the plane. So you got a picnic table there, picnic tables over there. Yeah, you're boxed in 14, and you know my bias against inner campsites is definitely showing with 14. So not digging 14. Again, I'll look back. I mean, you got a picnic table right there. You got one over there on the other side of this tree. You're in an inner. You've come all the way to Suttle Lake, but you can't actually see Suttle Lake. Kind of feels like an oxymoronic situation. So here's 15. And you park right here. This seems to have more of a tree line separation, which I appreciate, from 10 and 11 over there. So yeah, I think you actually have some privacy lines. So you're not line of sight really for the most part. Let's come over here. You're right next to the bathrooms. That's great if you use the bathroom a lot or want easy, convenient access. A little bit of privacy ding because other people go to the bathroom and come by your site. You look down on 14. That's not ideal, but something you can live with. Here's your picnic table and fire pit. All right, so if you're standing here, you can see 11 through those trees a little bit, so it's not like a perfect, they kind of miss slightly. I mean, I'm glad there's demarcation line of trees, but they didn't quite hit it perfectly. Come down here, and you've got this big railing, because it's kind of a steep hill and for erosion. So you do have a campsite down there, straight ahead. So that, my friend, is 15. 15 is kind of a mixed bag. The views from 10 and 11 and 9 and 7 are better. You do have these gorgeous views of Suttle Lake and of course Deschutes National Forest. All these epic old growth trees are amazing. You have 13 next to you over there, a little bit of a line of sight. So it's a mixed bag. I don't get the impression that 15 right here is as good as 13, 11, 10, 9, or 7. That kind of feels like the sweet spot of this campground so far. Here is 16. This is a premium high quality site. Park here, come over here, and oh, this is gorgeous. As far as a single family site, this might be the best one here. I love this one. You got your picnic table, you got your fire pit. I like that they situated the fire pit right up against the fence so you can sit the fire pit and overlook Suttle Lake. Gorgeous. 16 is by far, I think, the best single site here if you're like a single family. You could imagine sitting right here and you're just kind of chilling. You look down at your fire. Oh, I'm tending my fire, having some marshmallows, and then look up at the lake. You do have access down to Shoreline. See right here, you can see you have direct access to Shoreline, so you can drag your kayak down there. That would work. You got beach access. Drag it back up here to your site. I will say this, right there, that is the Shoreline loop for the 3-mile Shoreline loop that circumnavigates Suttle Lake. So you will have people moseying on by right there, continuing that way. But with the way this place is situated, you're above it enough that your privacy won't be directly impacted. If you're sitting up here, I think you're good. So you could sit up here and have a sense of privacy. Yeah, you're hanging out here, just kind of enjoying Suttle Lake, maybe reading a book or a Kindle or an iPad or whatever it is you do, studying maps for your next adventure. So 16 is legit. I am digging 16. 16 is like magic. I love 16. So here's site 17. I think that is, it also says 17. I think that's just like an additional parking spot is how I'm reading this. And you go over here. Now the good news is we're Shoreline, so that's always in the plus column. That's kind of the number one thing we're looking for while we're here. So you come down here, you got your picnic table, your fire pit. So your picnic table, your fire pit, this is awesome. I will say that this is a bit of a party zone, it feels like to me. Like, not the best lot lines. You got 4 in a row with no breaks. So you're at 17. The plus is you're right on the shoreline. You can sit here and look at your view of Suttle Lake. The other plus is you kind of have your own beach shoreline access right here. I mean, look at this. This is cool. You can grab your kayak. This is ideal. This is about as ideal as it gets for kayak. This is even better than those other ones because you have right into the water right here. Like, look at this. This is crazy. Like, boom, you're right in the water. Like, that is gorgeous. So look back, that's 17. So you're staying at 17, you drag your kayak right over here, and then you exit the water right there. So for a kayaker, like I got Pungos and Orus, I don't think 17 could be better. That might be the best kayak access site here, just because it's a flat beach right into the water. So if you're all about kayaking, 17 might be the one for you. Other advantages, you have the bathroom right up there. You kind of have a break from 16. 16 is amazing, but it's up there. It's a little bit of a forest road separation. So you're on the end of this bay of 4. So 17 could really work as a high quality play, in my humble opinion. Great kayaking, bathroom access, and you're the end of this line. Let's keep going. So you see the brown side up there, that's 18. You park up there. I'm already down here, so I'm not going to walk up and walk back down again because that's asinine. Here we are at 18, and you got your picnic table and fire pit. I will say you've got the Shoreline Trail right here. This is the Shoreline Trail, so this is also true of 17, which I just did. 17's right there. So this is the Shoreline Trail moseying right by your site. So privacy, that's a huge ding. This is 18. So again, you park up there. Bring your gear down here. So it's a little bit of a haul. You're not technically parking like right at your site, but I don't know what that is, like 30, 40, 50 feet. It's nothing. Bring your stuff down here. You're camping here. Again, you got the shoreline, people walking by. As far as lot lines, you've got 2 sites there and 1 site there. So you don't have good privacy. If you wanted to do a group thing, like if I was doing single family, I would, out of this bay, I would do 17 straight ahead because at least it's on the end. But if this is probably a better party group zone, if you grab 17, 18, those 2, whatever they are, presumably 19, 20, I'll know in a minute, then you would have this whole bay to yourself, and that could be pretty epic. So I will also show you really high quality beach access. One of the best parts about Suttle Lake is they really were thoughtful about their kayak entrance, exit, their beach access. So you got a private beach right there, just as good as 17. Had its own private beach over there. You got a private beach access right here. I mean, this is outstanding. This is kind of shared between this one and the one next to us, presumably 19. So I'm digging this. You're a little fishbowled because there's 2 next to you on that side, 1 next to you on that side. So you're not the perfect privacy lines, but an outstanding group play. If you can get this whole bay of campsites, then I think you would be living the dream. Here is campsite 19. You park here. Let's go down to our site. Get that view of the lake. Your whistle is already wet just looking at that lake. Pretty exciting stuff. There's the picnic table, there's the fire pit, there's beautiful Suttle Lake. Majestic in all its alpine wonder. And you do have a neighbor straight ahead there with absolutely no lot line separation, so that's a little bit of a ding. You do have a neighbor right there and right there, that's 17 and 18. I think this would be outstanding group play if you can get a bay of campsites and be grouped together. But by itself as a single family, for me, that's kind of a deal breaker because it just feels very fishbowled. I will say, look at the quality of this lake though. This lake is epic. 19, which we're at, shares with 18 to the right this incredible beach access. So if you got like a kayak you want to drag in and out of the lake, this is your own private shoreline, very safe, very flat. Basically walk right here, walk through this, and then just go right into the lake. I mean, you're not going to get a better lake entrance and exit into with a kayak than this. So that's 18 and 19. Also, there's a water spigot straight ahead, so it's interesting. It's even right on the trail. I don't know if they think people on the trail are going to use that or if it's just coincidence, but I guess technically you do have access to this shoreline trail as well. I mean, look at this. Can I interest you in an alpine wonderland? Look at this. This is gorgeous. Like, this is premium world-class lake beaches. Lots of places to enter and exit with your kayak or your raft or your canoe or your flotation device. here. So like right now, as I'm walking, see straight ahead, I'm on the Shoreline Trail. So you're gonna have people walking right here looking over at you at 19 or at 20 or straight ahead at 18 or 17. You'll have a steady stream of people walking on the trail I'm on right now between you and your private access beaches, and you will be absolutely fishbowled. They're horrible privacy lines. See, there's 17 and 18. So that's not good. That's why, in order to get this premium access next to the lake, you have to give up a lot of your privacy lot lines. So it's a massive trade-off. It's a massive mixed bag. But I will say this lake is gorgeous. This beach access is world class. And this generalized Deschutes National Forest area, look around at the forest itself, is absolutely spectacular. I mean, it's probably worth the trade-off to get the forest, the lake, and the shoreline campsites as I try to look up and see the sun peeking through the tree. So that is 19. Here is campsite 20. You've got your shoulder parking here. You can obviously get a car or two right there pretty easily. And this one's a little bit more shaded. This is on the end of this bay of 4. So you got 20, 19, 18, 17 over there. So let's go down and take a look. Picnic table, fire pit, little swath of forest. So I'm digging this. I will say one thing to be aware of before you get too excited, not to neg on this, because this is really nice. Like you got this, you got Suttle Lake. You're on the end of 4, so at least you're on the end. One thing to be hyper aware of, it may or may not be a deal breaker for you, is right over here is the Shoreline Trail. Like literally right here, see this? I'm now standing on the Shoreline Trail. So you'll have a steady stream of people. Most people go counterclockwise, which means they'll be coming from this direction. They'll be coming from this direction, walking right by your campsite. So right now I'm on the trail. Hey, how's it going? So that's your campsite. You're sitting there, spending time with your family, and they're coming this way. Also, that doesn't bode well for 19, 18, 17, straight ahead. So this Shoreline Trail walks right between Suttle Lake and these 4 sites in kind of an intrusive, privacy violating way, in my humble opinion. So that's a big negative. But look at this beach. If you want to drag a kayak or a canoe or a raft or whatever the heck it is you want to use, premium shoreline beach access, kayak entrance exit, premium shoreline views, premium forest views, but your privacy is violated by hikers, and your privacy is kind of violated by these 4 campsites with no line of sight breakage between them. So that's why if you grabbed these 4 as a massive group play, that neutralizes that. Then the only negative side is the hikers. But if you got a big group anyway, what do you care? And that could actually be a dream alignment. So the South Shore Campground is pretty special. The more I'm looking at it, the more I'm falling in love with it. These views of the lake are just world class. I mean, look at this lake. This is ridiculous. I will also say you can hear some vehicles in the background. The other side of this lake is Highway 20. And one of the complaints people have is that you can hear the air brakes of trucks in the middle of the night driving through. So if you're looking for pin drop still silence, Suttle Lake probably isn't the right area for you, just because of the orientation of where it's at. Suttle Lake is right up against Highway 20, and then these campgrounds are right up against the lake, which is right up against Highway 20. So you're not getting the pin drop silence, and you're gonna, if you're a person that, I want that pin drop still silence, I'm out in the middle of nature, then I probably would actually steer clear of Suttle Lake entirely, because that's not this lake. This is a trade-off lake shoreline, beach access kayaking, but poor privacy lines and loud background cars. It's kind of a weird, eclectic mix. For some people, that's a sweet spot. For other people, it's a deal breaker. So to each his or her own. We just did 1 through 20, and now we're doing 21 through 38. There's 38 campsites in all. Getting on another loop. Here is 21. Not really a fan of these inners. As you can see, it's a bit fishbowled. You got 2 on the other side of it here to the right. Now you got presumably 22 right there. 21 and 22 are right on top of each other. I'll be completely candid up front. We just did 1 through 20, which was like the lakeshore loop. Those were world class and premium, some of them, and some great group plays particularly. These are all going to be inners. So I'm going to go through all of them just to give you the reviews and the data so you can make the best decision for what's right for you. But I'm probably going to be a lot more critical of this particular zone because I have a bias against the inner campsites, because my viewpoint is you're coming to Suttle Lake, why wouldn't you want to be camping on Suttle Lake shoreline? So here's 22. You got your driveway, you got your picnic table, fire pit, beautiful forest. You got the forest road kind of meandering around, so you're a little bit fishbowled. You got 21 right next to you, horrible lot lines. You can play catch with them if you want. You got another one right there, got another one right there. So for me, these are deal breakers. I wouldn't personally camp 21 or 22, but people are looking for different things. Great shade. If you're looking for shade, that nice section of forest, those are good. Here's 23. Nice long parking, pretty flat. And you got your picnic table. You got the bathroom straight ahead. That's nice. So things I don't like about 23. First I'll say the shade's great, the forest is great, and the bathroom access is great. But there's a campsite right there. There's a campsite right there. And there's campsites right straight ahead, 22 we just came from. So you're kind of triangulated on an inner site. You don't really have a view. You can kind of make out the lake, but this definitely isn't a shoreline viewpoint site. You got the garbages right there. That's good and bad. Good access for you, but a lot of people going to them. You got the bathrooms right there. Good and bad. Good access for you, but a lot of people going to them. So I would not do 23. My humble opinion. I will try not to belabor the point because I'm sure it's annoying if I just keep repeating the same thing over and over again. But the inners to me are more of what I call concession camping. Like, I just wanted to be in the area. It wasn't the perfect spot, but oh well, I'm just happy to be there. And I totally get that mentality. Sometimes you're trying to jam in your schedule and you can't go, perfect's the enemy of the good. You just want to be there. So those all work for that, but they're not like a dream destination site. Here's 24. A little bit of an uphill parking. Little precariously perched. There's your picnic table, your fire pit. Beautiful section of forest. Look at that. If you're willing to go up in the forest and play a little bit, the chipmunk seem to like it as he scampers off, then this could be a good one. Nice big trees. This one's got a little bit of a claustrophobic feel because if you actually look at the square footage of the campsite itself, it's pretty small. Kind of got to go into the forest to make it feel livable. So not ideal. Let's keep going. Here's our next one. You got a nice long driveway. Flashback, you can see that was 24 back here. This is 25. So great driveway, impressive. Up in the forest, little elevated, little Swiss Family Robinson feel. Beautiful forest, good shade all day because of these trees. You can see the sun peeking between the trees, but you're gonna be shaded all day because these trees are massive and provide good coverage. So if your sun's a concern, 25 is great. And good parking, long driveway. You can make out the lake, but you're not on the lake. So trade-offs. Continue along. Here's 26. You got your own little roundabout. It's always exciting to have your own long, elongated driveway. So you come over here. Here's your picnic table. Here's your fire pit. This bay is not my favorite because you got 21 and 22 over there, and whatever this one was, like 14, I want to say right there. So you got a cluster of 4 that kind of make up that one little forest zone. It's a little boxed in for my taste. Let's continue along. Try to do these numerically consistent, so I'll come over here to 27. Here's our forest road. Here is our driveway. And let's come up here. These are tucked up in the forest, so these are good forest plays. I actually like 27 more than the last couple. This is pretty nice. Feels a little bit more tucked in here. You got your picnic table, fire pit. You do have a bunch of picnic tables down there. I mean, you are like 6 or 7 campsites all within your line of sight. So that's a deal breaker for me, but putting that aside, probably put my tent up here. This is one where you can kind of shade up in the forest a bit. Like if you're looking for privacy, you can come up here and gives you a little bit more privacy. I don't know, it's a bit congested for my taste, put it that way. You can make out the silhouette of the lake if you're sitting here at the picnic table, but you got too many parties between you and the lake for it to be an intimate experience with Suttle Lake as compared to those shore ones I showed you earlier. I don't know why you wouldn't want to be on the shoreline, then way offset. Here's 28, and nice long elongated cul-de-sac turnout driveway, which is nice for a big vehicle. Picnic table, fire pit, not that one, that one. So that already kind of tells the story right there. You have your new best friends right there. Here's where you're hanging out. And oh, look, you got a bunch of people over there too. So need I say more? That's 28. I will say it's got good shade and it's a beautiful forest. Now we're coming up to 29, also known as 29. Here's your driveway. Coming straight. You can I'll actually point out it's a little narrow between this tree and this bush. I could see a car, if you're not paying attention, getting sideswiped right there with the brushage. And picnic table, fire pit. Now this one has the distinction of having some real lot lines. Like, look at all that greenery, you can't see anybody. So this one's actually private. I gotta say, I'm impressed. 29, who knew? 29 is actually kind of private. Yeah, you got a little bit of light lines over there, but we can live with that compared to the other ones. So I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with 29. The fire pit, and you got restroom access over here, close enough that you can get to it, but it's kind of around the corner, so people going to it isn't gonna disturb you that much. That's the main, that's a trail to the main road, and then beyond that, you can get down to the lake. It's a little bit of a trek to the lake, so this isn't great. This would not count for kayak access, e.g. entrance exit to the lake, but as far as just a privacy play, 29 is actually not that bad. I could live with 29. So far as like single family, single party campsites, I think my favorite are 16, 5, and 29. 16 is definitely the best. 16 is like a premier site. Like, I would actually recommend that to friends and family. Like, hey, you want to go stay in the Suttle Lake area as a single family, I'd do site 16. That would be my recommendation. Here's campsite 30. Good park here. These ones a little bit more private, although they're away from the lake. A little bit of a trade-off. Obviously put your tent straight ahead. Got your picnic table and fire pit right there. This isn't bad, actually. Not giving you the lake access. That's the one ding against it, but is it giving you privacy? So looks like you got a trail down there, and then ultimately that's going to take you down to the lake, straight ahead down there. So if you're willing to give up the premium lake access and focus entirely on a privacy play, then 29 and 30 are actually pretty good privacy-wise as far as lot lines. They have good proximity to the restroom as well, so it's interesting. Here's site 31. This little cul-de-sac at the end of this section, 29, 30, 31, all have actually pretty good privacy lines. I'm impressed. So here, you got your picnic table, and clearly here's where you put your tent. You got your fire pit. You're not really getting the lake access or the lake view. So you're sacrificing the lake view and the lake access for your privacy. So that's your trade-off. There is looks like a trail ultimately take you to the lake. So that's something. But kind of interesting, this 29, 30, 31 zone is all about single family privacy at the expense of lake views and lake access. So if you are hyper focused on your privacy, which I can appreciate if you are, then those are all interesting plays. So that was 31. Here is site 33. Point out 34 is right across the way. So you got kind of a steep driveway. The site itself is actually a bit offset. You have probably 35 right over there. So you park up here, and probably not suited for like a Mini Cooper or a Mazda Miata, but most SUVs would be fine, Subaru would be fine. I will say this is a bit offset in the forest, so it gives us some pretty forest views. You can see the sun up there, so more area to play, better for a bigger family. You got the log over there to sit on and lay out gear. You got your picnic table, fire pit, a lot of good shade. I will say if you look over there, that was that last swath we're in. We're starting a new loop. So we got a little bit better privacy lines in the last section. Probably the only ding is you do have a campsite right there, straight line of sight. So that could be a deal breaker. But beyond that, it's actually a pretty good offset up in the forest campsite Nice big long driveway. It's a little elevated, so probably want a Subaru SUV type thing, or some cars might have a little difficulty. It's just bumpy enough that it could cause some issues depending on your vehicle. Let's cross away. That was 33. Next is 34. Now 34 is an inner. It's kind of part of that triangulated area I was kind of dogging on before, so I don't expect this will be much different. 34, parking, picnic table, fire pit to the right of the tree. Straight ahead, you've got your restroom. You've got a series of campsites over there, kind of fishbowl, kind of in the middle section, the generic section, the intersection. I probably wouldn't do 34, keeping it real. Not what I come to Suttle Lake for, or really go anywhere for. And let's keep going. We've got the last few here. Here's 35. Got the forest right over there. A couple dumpsters just for reference. And here's your nice long driveway. That's nice. Huge swath of forest. Forest is epic. Picnic table, fire pit. If you got kids who want to run around and scream, maybe not scream, but run around, this is a great type area. You do have 33 right there. That's not great lot lines, but 33 and 35 as a forest play could be good. I will say you do have the road straight up there, so you're going to see cars going up there. But this is a huge swath of forest. That's nice. If you just have some kids that got the yayas and need to run around, this could be a great site for them. 35, and perhaps a group play. If you grab 35 and 33, this entire swath of forest will be your dominion. As I said, this is a new loop, so it's a little bit separated from the last loop that had really atrocious privacy lines to our left. So that was 35. Forest play, no lake views, no lake access, no kayak entrance, exit access. Not a lake play, basically a forest play that happens to be at a lake. Keeping it real. Here's 36. 36 is going to be an inner. Let's come down here. You got a nice long driveway. You got actually turnabout, fair play driveway, love it. And here's your picnic table, fire pit. And you can see down there, like I think that's 4 and 5 across the way we started over there. I gotta say, look at this incredible Ponderosa pine, like leaning tower of Ponderosa, pretty epic. So the forest around here is world class. But you see you got your neighbor next to you, I think that was 34, I wanna say. And you have kind of this, you're kind of on the inner, you're kind of marooned. So I wouldn't pick that one. That's not my cup of tea, personally, to each his or her own. Here's 37. We got driveway. Driveway's nice. These all have nice driveways. The driveways in this area are spectacular. Some places have dinky driveways and it's like cramped to park your car. You're not gonna have that problem at South Shore Campground. These are all nice, long, big, sturdy, hardy driveways. Picnic table, fire pit. You got some good separation from your neighbor over there. You can see their picnic table straight ahead. I don't know why they left a clearing direct money shot. So one spot you don't want a clearing, but is what it is. Another big swath of forest. So if you got kids with yayas, you just want people to be able to run around and get some energy out, this could be a good one. But no lake access, no kayak entrance exit access, really no views. Kind of generic forest camping in an above average high quality forest zone of Deschutes National Forest. That's how I would rate 37. Do have a dumpster right here. I'm presuming these are the normal locations and they haven't been moved for the end of the season. Here's 38 and picnic table. I mean, I would not pick 38. Look at this. This is not my jam. Kind of right in the middle of the forest and you're just kind of overlooking a bunch of sites. No lake views, no access views.